WRBI Batesville, Greensburg, Versailles, Brookville now presents Southeastern Indiana's longest running and most listened to sports show. It's Coach's Corner, broadcasting live from the Coach Raver Corner at Ison's Family Pizza. Listen on 103.9 FM or the WRBI app. And now you can watch the show happen live too at WRBI-TV.com or on our Facebook page. Here is the host of Coach's Corner, Coach Rob LaFerry.
To Coach's Corner on this Monday night on Country 103.9 WRBI, also the WRBI app and WRBI-TV. We have got a full guest list tonight. Rob LaFerry with you. We'll go ahead and get started. Very heavy on basketball tonight, but we've also got swimming to discuss. But let's set out and start on the hardwood. Batesville boys basketball coach Aaron Garrett, and Batesville fortunate enough to get one game in this past weekend. And it's a good one, Coach. 61-40 win on the road at Lawrenceburg, a conference win for you guys, and first 3-0 start for the program since 2016.
Oh, good research, and I thought to look back to that. And a lot of those years, that Lawrenceburg game was one of the things that maybe tripped us up. And it's always good to get a win at Lawrenceburg. In the old gym that they called the Pit, that was extremely tough to get a win down there, even as they built their new gymnasium. It's beautiful. Still tough to get a win because those kids battle so hard. And I can remember Colt Ryan senior year. We go down there, we get a tough win, and he's ripping up the scouting report at the end, and thank God I'll never have to come back here again, right? So it just tells you about how tough it is to get a win there. And as I use the word tough, that's the thing that stands out to me the most, is we gotta win by tough measures, being tough guys, doing tough things. Because we scored 61 points, which is a good clip still, but it's not like it came and it wasn't effortless, and that's a credit to Lawrenceburg. But we found other ways to get it done. We had 19 assists on 25 made field goals. So the ball was really moving well. Guys were rotating. The ball was going side to side. But even defensively, to do the job the guys did on the full court, into the half court, and all guys, but Ethan Snyder comes to mind because he had the primary assignment of Lewis. And Lewis had scored 20-plus points in a game right before ours. Long player, experienced player. Really good player, and I think we held him to 6 overall. Cole is another experienced player. And there were times where guys, we just did a phenomenal job. And probably one of my favorite parts was just the rebounding. Because we are not going to probably be the biggest team in very many games we play all year. But just the amount of gang rebounding, getting chips on guys, other guys cleaning up the rebound, and just the willingness to physically get in there. And a couple different things come to mind. We crash offensively. So Ethan Schneider had an open shot from 3 in the deep corner. Cameron Holcomb, same side of the floor, but actually out even further than Ethan was deep. And he goes crashing in. He gets an offensive rebound. He swings it to Maple, I think. Maple swung to James, and James hits a dagger 3. On the defensive side, Braden Maple getting his bodies into much bigger opponents, but then either him getting a rebound or a James cleaning up, a Braden Hughes cleaning up, and vice versa. Those guys getting chip and Braden cleaning it up. And our guards have done a really nice job rebounding. Cameron had 10 rebounds in this game. And then Winston Garrett got a 5-second count. And that's a great individual effort, showing the hands, moving the feet. But if you watch off the ball, it's almost like a quarterback in football, right, coming off the NFL weekend. When does a sack happens because the quarterback can't get the ball out because the defensive backs have got the receivers covered up. We're getting there. We've made quite a jump in 2 weeks in terms of that 5-second call. Yep, great on-ball defense. But the Lawrenceburg kid had nobody to throw to. Because every time he looked, we were up the line, in the passing lane, in the gaps, rotating. And that was maybe my favorite possession because it's all quickly starting to come together, full court and half court, which is quite exciting.
I think when you go back to rebounding, and something that you bring up, and then you start thinking, the last few years you've had Big Smooth, Cole Pride, you've had Cade Kaiser, you've had Jack Grunkemeyer, you have had guys who are primary rebounders. You don't have that in terms of size this year. It becomes a collective effort, and it's one of those toughness things, again, your kids so far this season have bought into.
Yeah, and you saw that those 3. Cole Pride's the tallest dude I've ever coached in my career. Cade Kaiser's arguably, if not the best athlete, one of the best athletes I've coached. Jack Grunkemeyer, when Grandpa gets those legs set, you're not moving him, right? So you phrased it very well. It is collective, but it's more the mental than it is the physical, because we've had guys that are just maybe physically stronger collectively than this group, more athletic than this group, but this group has just been determined. They've been relentless on the boards, and Coach LaFerry, we're not doing a whole lot of rebounding drills in practice to this point. We've been working on some other things, but it's always an emphasis of ours. Offensively, we're crashing. Defensively, if we want to go score those points and want to run a certain pace, obviously you got to collect defense rebounds. And those guys are doing a really good job. And I know this sounds strange, but even on makes, that's not a rebound because the opponent made the bucket, but we call it make him pay. And there's a few different possessions. We had the ball down the floor. I know one time Maple Lightning dribbled, and we had a pass up the floor. Trent another time had one dribble, pass up the floor, and we're hitting a bucket, whether it be a 3 or 2, within 5 seconds of the opponent scoring. So that's just dispiriting, and that's just another twist on it, just how collectively we are playing together.
And I like defensively, and this is something that I got a chance to discuss over the weekend. You're playing defense a bit differently in terms of it's not necessarily getting a steal. It's not necessarily forcing this to happen or this to happen. You're making things complicated in a variety of ways, which is starting to pay off and something that your kids, again, are buying into.
Yeah, and you were able to come to practice Saturday morning. So Friday we get a tough win. We were supposed to have a double weekend. Unless you lived in the southwest corner of the state or upper north of the state, nobody played basketball Saturday. So our game against Southwestern Hanover got postponed. But we were able to get a practice in that morning before the weather came in. And 2 things stand out to me. First, our guys were pretty good energy-wise, pretty good frame of mind coming off a road game at Lawrenceburg. That would have been a double weekend. So that's a good sign. And secondly, we really spent some time Saturday at practice. So we've been playing 84 by 50 by 32. And quite frankly, Rob, we've had the guys probably playing harder than they need to be. Now we continue to add more framework to it, more discipline, more structure to it, to hopefully free this up. So now we're doing some things. So we're not necessarily pressing to go jump the ball and try to get steals. That may happen, but we're going to get it, as you've already seen some without even this time being able to spend on the structure of it, the framework of it, guys sprinting into steals because the rotation has been so well, because the guys are giving such great effort. And to have a chance we spent about 45 minutes there Saturday just on that scheme alone that will carry over into this week. That'll make us hopefully even more harder to identify, harder to diagnose, right? Because as you get that ball in, you think you have an opening, and all of a sudden the way we're going to rotate and the way the guys are hustling, and even onto the guys that come in off the bench, I'm pretty excited to see it come to fruition on the floor, because that's a job. We don't want to peak in December by any means. Mm-hmm. How do we keep getting better individually and collectively? And that's the focus we're going to take this week.
2 chances to get better this week. You've got a game on Thursday. You've got a game on Saturday. We're talking Batesville boys basketball with head coach Aaron Garrett. Let's talk Thursday first. You are on the road against a Milan team who got a late start because of the football success this year, but they've got 2 games under their belt. They fall by 2 to East Central. You play East Central. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but then also falling hard to South Decatur over the weekend. But this is a Milan team that provides a challenge just by athleticism and obviously a primary scorer, Micah Norman.
Yeah, and the game's home, so we get off the road.
My bad.
We're not road warriors. We finally get one at home now. And then Milan, I got a chance to scout them last Wednesday, so they played at East Central. So in the age of technology and all this that's going on, it was a rare live scout. And the Milan guys looked like they had not played basketball in a while because so many of them are football guys. So they got down 8-0 T Central. And then as they settled in, Matt used a timeout, got them settled down. Then it was a nice ball game, back and forth. They came back to take the lead. And I think, because I'd walked down getting ready to leave, but Norman has a shot deep corner. If it goes in, it's a game-winning 3. And that was after the back and forth. And Clark has taken a nice jump for them. He had a nice scoring game, handling the basketball a lot. Really, he's an athlete. Then they've got different guys going with them. But it's a 3-headed monster. And Micah Norman, obviously, I coached against his brothers. They were really good. And he's already a 1,000-point scorer.
Right.
And he eclipsed that mark as a junior. So he's a bona fide quantity there. So we'll have our hands full. After watching the South Decatur game on film, similar thing, South Decatur came out and bombed them. Milan gets down, I think it was 20. They get all the way back within 2, end up losing by close to 20, but I really was not on the game film. I found out he had some kind of accident Friday night, so hopefully we see him on the floor Thursday, because I know he missed a lot of time as a junior. Great kid, phenomenal distance runner. So hopefully whatever happened, it's a quick bounce back for him, and he's back for Milan, because I know he's a big piece for him.
And again, that is going to be on Thursday. That is at Batesville, so I stand corrected there. Just a miscue there on the note-taking, but on Saturday, you are on the road. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a girl-boy doubleheader, so it's always exciting to get the varsity girls together with the varsity boys there to follow, and you're on the road. It's an East Central team a really strong junior class. Coach Teasing is still doing some really good things with the basketball program, and as always, they are a challenge no matter the year.
And they started off with a tough schedule, right? I believe they were at Whiteland, tough battle against Jennings or against Milan, then at Jennings again. So, like you said, I do like it's the boy-girl doubleheader, so it gets both programs together, and East Central can shoot it. They're well disciplined. They're going to try to run their things offensively and try to control the game tempo that way. And they run some tough action in terms of it's multiple screens happening at once that we're going to have to communicate through. And then on the girls' side of things, I just love watching our girls play in a season where we're down numbers, and it's no mystery to anybody. We had some girls decide not to play for various reasons. So I'm just proud of the girls that decided to play, because as a high school kid, boys or girls, once some people start to quit, it can turn into an avalanche, right? Oh, you're not playing, I'm your buddy, so I'm maybe not going to play now. And that starts to happen. So we have no seniors. We're young. We don't have very many numbers. But my goodness, they're playing so tough. I've seen about 4 of their games now, and just super proud of them. So can't wait to support them against an East Central team that's really good, right? Really, really good team. But I know our girls will absolutely fight, and we'll be there to support them.
Final question tonight, Coach. Last week, the Ripley County tournament draw comes out. We still got a couple weeks until that. We'll have our preview show coming up in a couple weeks to talk about that. We'll be there to broadcast, but you get a chance to host the boys Ripley County tournament this year in a draw very similar to last year. You guys are playing Jacksonville in the opening round. So just some thoughts as you're heading into the end of December and getting yourself ready to be tournament ready come January.
Yeah, and it's when I look back, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the 4th straight year it's been drawn this way. So we've had the luxury of Brian Helvey getting South Ripley back on our schedule, so we'll see all 3 county opponents before we play them in the county tournament. So then it's a process of breaking down film, what worked, what didn't work, what changes do we need to make, what do we have wrinkled in by then as far as what we've added to our playbooks on both sides of the ball. But it's a long time until we get there. When we get there, Rob, it'll look like, gosh, really, we played those games in December because we have this double weekend. We have South Ripley on the road right before Christmas. Then we have our tournament right there after the new year. Then we'll get the Ripley County tourney. And what's really crazy once you get to February, it's like, man, the Ripley County tourney seemed like it was 2 years ago. So it's just interesting, the rhythm and routine. But we've got the oldest existing county tournament in the state. It's very, very special. I love the Hall of Fame. That's part of it. Mm-hmm. You guys, when you're in, do a great job of that preview show and getting information out about all the boys and girls programs. And then it's always well attended. So that's why I'm always pumped about it in terms of the even down to the program that lists the history.
Right.
I love the history of Batesville basketball. I love the history of Ripley County basketball. We're so lucky with so many people that do great things to keep that history alive. And that's what makes it special. So you'll see that on stage there as we hit January. And let's maybe hope we're done with this weather, because we've already exhausted our snow days. We haven't even hit Christmas break yet, but hey, it'll be 60 by Thursday, so life will be good.
Well, and then you also talked about the county tourney. It feels like it's been 2 years since you played it. Well, last year I feel like it took 2 years to get the whole county tourney played. Coach, we'll go ahead and let you go tonight. We'll be there to broadcast on Thursday, be there to broadcast on Saturday. Enjoy your delay tomorrow, and we'll chat later.
Awesome. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, Batesville boys basketball coach Aaron Garrett joining us as a part of Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza. Batesville swimming is on the way with Coach Greg McMullen on Country 103.9 WRBI, the WRBI app, and WRBI-TV.
Simmer and sear with confidence using a Maytag freestanding electric range with 5 elements, including a 9-inch and 6-inch dual-choice element, variable broil, and warming center. You can knock out mealtime in no time. The steam clean cycle and fingerprint-resistant stainless steel finish makes it easy to keep clean inside and out. Shop Garings today. Garings in Maytag, 316 North Main, Batesville.
When life takes unexpected turns, Moore Law is there to help. Moore Law can help with estate planning, elder law, nursing home planning, criminal defense, family law issues, and civil litigation. They stand behind their clients every step of the way. From protecting loved ones and securing your future to defending your rights, Moore Law's attorneys bring a wealth of knowledge and dedication to every case. Call 812-932-1227. Moore Law, attorneys you can trust.
back to more Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza on 103.9 FM, streaming audio on the WRBI app, and with video on our Facebook page and at WRBI-TV.com.
Back with more Coach's Corner inside the friendly confines of the Raver Corner on a very chilly and still snowy and icy Monday night. We just wrapped up Batesville boys basketball with head coach Aaron Garrett. And amid all the snow and ice, let's talk swimming. Sounds redundant to a degree, but Batesville swim coach Greg McMullen joining us here on Coach's Corner for a second week in a row. Coach, you end up being one of the rare teams to get a chance to go compete on Saturday. I heard you off air talking about an interesting trip home from Shelbyville as a part of the Shelbyville relays, but not before a very impressive performance again with very good competition at Shelbyville.
Yeah, and shout out to Cohen and the crew over at Shelbyville for getting us in and out of there. And again, the officials just keeping that meet running. It was one of those things where we go into that coaches meeting at 8:30 and they're just like, all right, like we're not stopping. We're just going. We're not gonna like rush anybody, but we are definitely going to get this meet in and we're going to get it taken care of. And yeah, so those guys, John and the other official I can't remember, but yeah, those two guys, they definitely kept it going. Kurt, there we go. Kurt and John. They kept us moving and they got it going. And again, we were very fortunate to be one of those teams to be able to go. One of the teams that is typically in that meet had to bow out. Their administration was just like, nope, it's not worth it. But we still had 5 teams I think on the girls' side, 6 teams on the boys' side of the 7 that were supposed to be there. And I mean, Columbus East was there. Unfortunately, their girls' team just is not big enough to be in a relay meet. So it was one of those things where they swam fine. We had some fun. We had to send a kid home sick. We got on the bus, missing several kids from being sick. And then, we get to Shelbyville, and I just look at one of them like, you're going home. Like, I can tell you don't feel good. And then, we get on the bus, and, well, actually, we don't even get on the bus. We walk outside, and it is just pelting down snow. And I'm like, all right, here we go. So we got on the bus, and I mean, again, and shout out to our transportation. They did a phenomenal job getting us to and from, and everybody was home safe. And, I even got a shout out from a parent that's just like, hey, like, thank you for making our kids check in when they got home. Because that was one of the things that I was so adamant about. I was just like, I got roughly 25 bodies on that bus by the time that we got there or got home. With a couple going home with parents and sending one home sick. And it was just like, all right, I want everybody to tell me that you made it home, because there needs to be no question that you guys are home safe, especially with, what we've dealt with the last 2 days.
Yes. And I can reiterate, even on the Batesville end with bus drivers, because same scenario a couple weeks ago, we have a middle school basketball game at Connorsville.
We had the same driver.
Snow hits, and so Derek is phenomenal at navigating there on the bus. We were home safe, so kudos there. Let's talk about things in the pool first. I know with the boys, in terms of those relays, you had a trio of top 5 finishes. The girls pick up 4. So, again, Mount Vernon's there, Shelbyville, Columbus East. There's those big schools there, but again, Pendleton Heights I think they've always been there.
Several relay records, and I'm just like, man, like, can we just get a number 2? And I think we actually had a few top 2 finishes, except somebody left early. So then we're sitting.
But
there
again,
with that.
It's showing that, and this is what we talked about even last week. Even with some of these new bodies that you have, you're showing you are competing against some really good teams.
Yes, absolutely. And every single time, and I jokes like, we got a DQ again.
Yeah.
And, the fun part is we say DQ, and some of the new kids are like, Dairy Queen. We're like, nope, sorry, not Dairy Queen, not this time. But it is one of those things where, it happens, and it's a learning opportunity for these kids. Like, if you go early on a relay exchange, or if you flinch on the block, or whatever it is, like, you got to learn.
Yeah.
Right. We have some kids that I think we talked about last week where it's like, they finished their first race legally. And that is a big win.
Right.
When you have that opportunity to just sit there and be like, yeah, I can swim all 8 events, like, legally. Like, that is something to strive for, and that's something that we try to teach. And again, going back to those new kids, like, they are throwing themselves in this pool, and like to be able to have Brody Gibson, like, you know, this was his first meet. He goes into a relay meet where we're just like, we don't even know if he can, you know, get in the water and swim off the block at this point. Like, yeah, we've practiced it, you know, don't get me wrong, but you know, it's still one of those things where we're still so early into the competitive side of the season that it's just like, we don't know what we're going to get. It's a crapshoot, like every single time, where we're just like, all right, like, let's try this. Let's see how you do in this event. And when a kid comes out with a successful time, it's like, all right, you just set the standard now. Let's do better next time.
And I think it's kind of along the lines of any other sport. I'll use football for an example because Coach Ulrey had such a young team this year.
Yeah.
Early in the season, you're playing a lot of sophomores or juniors who are new to varsity football. Those first couple weeks, you're going to go off sides. There's going to be a false start.
Yeah.
There's going to be little penalties. Swimming can be the same thing. Now, along with that, though, if you're still making the same mistakes in February that you're making in November, December, then there starts to be an issue of, okay, hey, let's clean it up a little bit.
Correct. And, you know, it's one of those things where, again, like, swimming is so just like factual, right? You know, it's just you either did it or you didn't. There's no, and what I love about at least IHSA, I don't know what other state associations have done. It's like there's no video review, there's no arguing, there's no questioning. Like if an official sees it, it happened, right? And we just accept it. We just go with it. Like there isn't going to be this argument of like, well, I didn't do it. Like, you did. It's in the record.
Yeah.
That's okay. Like we just move on from it. You know, it's going back to that Ted Lasso thing of like, you got to be a goldfish, right? Like you can't get hung up on all those details of like, well, I didn't go early or I did touch the wall, whatever. And, you know, going back to my days at Rose Holman, I remember having an instance where we were able to contest something. And they were just like, yeah, if there's a legal touch, we'll count it. Can't do that here. No. And I love it so much. I love the simplicity of it, of just being able to be like, nope. It's done. Like there is no precedent for sending it a video from mom and dad in the stands, you know, who have a suboptimal view. And, you know, sometimes there's cameras, sometimes there's not. Sometimes, you know, like I know East Central does a great job of doing during their live feeds. I think we got BNN potentially coming out on Tuesday. I don't know. I got to double check with the guys to be able to live stream our meet in Greensburg. But it's just one of those things where it's like, we don't know how it's going to go, you know, until the official comes up to us and was like, hey, this happened. It's like, okay, great. We'll work on it. We'll clean it up. And at Shelbyville Relays, it's one of those things where, again, we have 3 relays that we swim, you know, and maybe we have 2 relays per event. Maybe. This was 9 relays or 10 relays like that. It's just like everything could go wrong in that instance where people were diving off the bulkhead. People were going in face first or like chest forward going in for a backstroke start, and they got to flip over. So it's one of those things. Jaden Bosler, I'm sorry, I'm going to call you out, buddy. He was already on his back, like jumping off the block, and he had his body turned over, and I'm pretty sure he landed flat on his back going into that relay. But it's just that it shows that commitment level of like they're willing to put their bodies on the line in this sport, and even though you don't have to.
Let's talk about this week. Did practice, I'm assuming, get altered today? I know
we had nothing today.
Nothing today.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote a workout for the kids and was like, if it's safe for you to go to the Y, sure, go ahead. But, you know, there's no pressure. There's nothing. When Helvey sent a text out, I think it was like 1 or so, 1:30. It was just like, hey, still no practice. And then all of a sudden we get that, basically the Orange County, whatever.
Yeah.
It's taken care of.
Lots of colors.
Yeah, right. And then I was just like, it's just not worth, you know, trying to get 28 kids or whatever it is lined up to try to get practice in.
I want to bring this up since you brought the Y up. I know, obviously, there would be positives to having your own school pool.
Yeah.
But with it being the Y, is there a benefit there to that when things are canceled, there's no school? I feel like that's a benefit because kids can do things on their own. The Y provides that opportunity. So there's almost like a silver lining on a schedule like a lot of schools are having to run here the last few days.
Yeah, and that's something that Brian and I actually talked about just a couple hours ago. He's like, you know, because I told him, I was like, yeah, I sent a workout out just in case.
Right.
Because there are kids that will, you know, they'll say, Mom, I want to go practice today. And having something available is obviously great. I know that in the past we have been going into practice and school will be closed. We'll get clear. We'll get the clear to go practice, so our kids will be there. And maybe there's an OA or an East Central kid coming to our Y. So it is one of those things where great. It's awesome that we have that resource and that ability. And again, Brian was like, same thing that you're saying is like, it's kind of a nice thing to have that and be a part of that and have them in our backyard. And he's right. It absolutely is. But that to say, like, as a dad, as the, the swim coach and like looking out for these kids' safety, it's like, only do it
if you can.
Yeah, if you can. Like, there is never a have to, right? There's never this push to be like, this is something you have to do. And I hope our kids know that. I really do.
Talk about what's to come this week. I believe last time we spoke, Greensburg is scheduled to be on the docket for this week. And as you go to Christmas break and head into the holidays, what's to come for the Bulldogs?
Gosh. All right. So we have Greensburg tomorrow. We swim against Milan and Oldenburg on Thursday,
which will be a good one.
That one will be fun. Milan is always a tough nut to crack sometimes. Steve does a great job over there. I'm trying to think ahead. The 22nd, we actually go to Connorsville, and we get to see their brand new pool that they just opened.
Okay.
I think they just had something a couple of days ago where they tore out their entire pool. They redid the tile, redid the seating, and redid the actual pool itself, and I'm really excited to see it.
Awesome.
Coming from a South Dearborn grad, like, I swam in that pool, and I walk in there that first time, as a coach, I'm like, this hasn't changed.
Yeah.
And I can say that about Lawrenceburg, South Dearborn, and Connorsville. Obviously, Milan has not changed much at all either. But it's just like now it's like some of these things are starting to come to fruition with East Central opening their new one, Connorsville, opening this up. I know Southwestern Hanover has been doing some things. Madison, as we kind of talked about last week, is doing some things. So it's really nice to see some of these facilities that have been around since, the maybe late 70s, early 80s, kind of getting a refresh.
All right, Coach, we'll go ahead and let you go for tonight. Best of luck tomorrow. Swim season, still plenty of weeks ahead, so I know this will not be the last time we get to chat, but always good talking to you. Yeah. Safe travels on the way out.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, Batesville swim coach Greg McMullen joining us on Coach's Corner. Back to talk Batesville girls basketball with head coach Mitchell Taylor on the Sports Voice Country 103.9 WRBI, the WRBI app, and WRBI-TV.
When it comes to you and your family's health, finding a primary care provider you can trust makes all the difference. At Margaret Mary Health, our providers aren't just here for you when you're sick. They're dedicated to being your long-term partners in health. If you're looking for a medical provider to help keep your family well, give us a call or visit us online. Our primary care providers are accepting new patients in Batesville, Brookville, Osgood, and Milan. Margaret Mary Health. Generations of care.
Ison's Family Pizza is looking to add a few new faces to our team. Cecil here. The positions open include shift manager, full and part-time driver, and back of the house. Applications are available at the front counter. Resumes can be sent to isonsfamilypizza@yahoo.com. We are trying to fill shift manager, part-time driver, and back of the house. Apply to work at Batesville's Best Pizza today. Ison's Family Pizza, 117 East George Street, downtown Batesville.
Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry continues. Watch us live on WRBI-TV.com or on our Facebook page, and hear us live on the WRBI app and 103.9 FM. WRBI.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza on this Monday night. Rob LaFerry back with you. Before we get back into the show, we do have some school delays and cancellations to be reporting to you. This info is brought to you by Paul Ehrman State Farm and Pulse Camps Flooring Plus. Milan and Franklin County are closed tomorrow, as those will be e-learning days for Milan and Franklin County. And also to report, Batesville is on a 2-hour delay tomorrow. Full details always on Southeastern Indiana's most viewed website, WRBIRadio.com. A couple guys now here at the table who are okay with a 2-hour delay tomorrow. Myself and Batesville girls basketball coach Mitchell Taylor. Coach, 6-4 on the season. The good thing was you are a squad who is not plagued by the weekend weather. You're able to get Tuesday in, you're able to get Thursday in. It's a 1-1 split. Let's go back to Thursday night. That was the game that we covered here on the Sports Voice. 49-35 loss at home to Connorsville. You had said it last week. A very experienced Connorsville team. A couple of their girls that really stood out. It showed that experience, but it was a game where early your girls fought. Connorsville was able to pull away at the end.
Yeah, I thought the experience of their 3 senior guards really stood out for them. They did a much better job taking care of the ball than we did. They took advantage of the times we gave them easy opportunities in transition. And, they shot the ball well, too. We wanted to keep them out of the paint. We wanted to force them to have to hit from outside a little bit. We thought that they settled at times, and we were able to take advantage in different parts of the game. And then there were other times where I felt like we hit a big shot or we started to make a run, and they killed it with a big shot from the perimeter. So credit to them. They always have a great game plan. They're very well coached. Shayna Williams and one of their assistants is a longtime varsity coach, Coach Gray. They do a great job of preparing their girls game to game, and I really thought their guards stepped up that night.
Then you go back 2 nights prior. Tuesday night, that's a good road win at Lawrenceburg, 48-39. We had talked about, Labazo being such a great talent. They're always physical. Zane does a terrific job, and you had a couple girls step up in that one. But let's talk about the team overall. Defensively, a really nice job to hold Lawrenceburg to 39.
Yeah, we did. I mean, our girls the whole year have adjusted to what we're trying to do from a game plan perspective, take away the other team's strengths. And I thought Nora Wiedemann did an incredible job on Labazo. She's a 2-time all-conference player. She's played a lot of varsity games in her career. And for Nora to just really be a nuisance, keep her uncomfortable, not give her any easy looks. And I really thought everybody else around her did a great job of playing in the gaps and keeping her out of the paint. So really just a credit to our girls executing a game plan. And going out there and regardless of what's happening on the offensive side, still giving their best effort defensively.
48 points out of the 48. You had 2 who combined for 36. The first one to talk about is someone that's no stranger to our conversations, that being Maggie Jelenic. 20 points, even more impressive, 10 of 10 from the field.
Yeah, I thought she did a great job of getting up and down the floor. Our guards looked up, and she really beat their bigs up and down the floor most of the night. And credit to the rest of her teammates finding her when she was open, and Maggie finding a way to finish.
And then the other one, Kaylin Kathman, has 16 points. I feel like the last couple weeks, early in the season, offensively, Kaylin had some struggles. She did a lot more in terms of assists and on the defensive end. Now the offense is starting to build along with it. That helps you guys out tremendously.
Oh, without a doubt. I think she had 11 points in the first quarter of that Lawrenceburg game. She really gave us a spark and got things going for us because Lawrenceburg, such a physical team. I mean, they get into you, they're scrappy, they rebound well. We knew that the open looks that we were going to get, we were going to have to hit a few shots from outside to really open things up. And Kaylin did that for us early. And they were kind of having to scramble a little bit with what they were doing defensively, and that kind of opened things up for Maggie and other players.
On the girls' basketball side, even talking with Aaron tonight, on the boys' basketball side, we're still early in the season. Then you look at you guys, you're 6-4. You've played 10 games already. The season is cruising right through. Kind of an assessment. We're not quite at that halfway mark. I still feel like County Tourney is the unofficial halfway point for a lot of teams. But kind of your assessment so far, where are you seeing growth at with your program? Where is still some spots where you feel like there needs to be that growth and that improvement?
Yeah, I think there's always room for it, but right now the growth we've seen that we really like is offensively we've really given them a lot more freedom this year. It's a little more free flow, making reads. It's less sets and actually running like really specific actions. The girls have done a great job of just embracing that, and now it's like really growing with it and understanding like, okay, there are next levels to this. A team is going to scout this action, and we may run it really well. This is going to be taken away sometimes. What's the counter to that when teams take it away? So I think that's kind of the next step for us offensively and just to grow as a program.
When you talk about kind of giving more freedom to the offense, having been an assistant coach with girls basketball before, and it's no knock on girls whatsoever because boys can be the same way. Trust me, with the middle school kids, it can be this way. Sometimes I feel like when you try to put in too much with an offense or with set plays, if the specific job the player has doesn't work, there is such a risk of everything just falling apart. It's almost like a domino effect. It is something that's hard to teach, but once you pick up on it, it can help out quite a bit.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think something that I've heard from coaches in the past is the defense is always wrong, and it's kind of getting girls to buy into that idea of like they're going to be giving you something. If they're taking away one thing, there's something else available, and it's just kind of helping them to see those things that are open. And my varsity assistant Zach Hilton has done a great job of just really trying to get girls to embrace that idea and learn these different actions and really just have a confidence with the way you're playing, because no matter what the defense is doing, we have something that we can go to. So have we had games where it hasn't looked like that? Without a doubt. But we're slowly trying to get there, and I do think we're starting to show flashes throughout our last few games where we're much more comfortable on the offensive end.
Well, let's talk about this weekend. Well, then we'll head into talking about what's to come over Christmas break. But you have got a Friday, Saturday this upcoming weekend. Friday is going to be a home game, and it's a Richmond team that you never know fully what you're going to get. There's been years where their program's been really strong, years where the program has struggled a little bit. They've had some numbers issues, even as a 4A school, but nonetheless, it is a 4A opponent. It's going to be one of two for you guys this weekend, and it presents a challenge, especially for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, Richmond always has a lot of talent. They have a lot of quickness on their team, I know that, and they're kind of one of those teams where they don't really give ground from a size standpoint. You know, I think they've got like 5'7", 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", 5'11". There's going to be some length that may give us some trouble in different positions. But, you know, you watch their games, and they went to Lawrenceburg, at Lawrenceburg in, you know, their newer gym, and they gave them a great first half. They're just a team that hasn't really put 32 minutes together yet. Right. And we are fully prepared for it to be on Friday night. So, you know, there's things that we have to do this week to make sure we're prepared and ready for that. Because, you know, any team that hasn't won a game yet in the season, they're just so eager to get their first win, and you don't want to be the team to give that up.
And then on Saturday, a girl-boy doubleheader. We talked about this with Coach Gare. I know I'm excited to broadcast both games on Saturday. Saturday is on the road at East Central. You're facing a Richmond team still looking for win number one. Then Saturday, it's a complete flip-flop, an East Central team who has won plenty this year.
Yeah, and East Central's a team that really ups the pressure. They've had some girls take big step-ups in their game, become a lot more confident as shooters. So, you know, we know with East Central, they always come and they're ready to throw the first punch. And we got to be ready to take that first punch, get right back up, and find ways to compete with them on both ends. One thing we know will happen is they're going to up the pressure on us, and it's just going to come down to, all right, can we be calm? Can we play within ourselves? Can we take care of the basketball? And we're going to be right in that game.
As a coach, how do you go about preparing for Friday, Saturday? Because you've got practice for the rest of this week, but there's that game Friday. There's going to be that walkthrough on Saturday. Coaching staff-wise, how do you go about trying just to get ready for back-to-back?
Yeah, I mean, I would say most of the time there's overlap with different styles of play where you can work on a few things that's going to apply to both situations. But we're definitely going to be sprinkling in some East Central things throughout the week, some Richmond things throughout the week to prepare for both games just because of how quick a turnaround is going into Saturday.
We won't get a chance to talk before the county tourney preview because the next 2 Mondays we are off because of the Christmas holiday. But, you know, technically there was a time where Christmas meant Christmas. And now in the basketball world, who cares? Because immediately right before Christmas, you guys are on the road December 23rd at Triton Central. December 29th, you do get a bit of a break, but then you go to a Scottsburg tournament that you know is going to be awfully, awfully tough. These are really good games. Number one, to prepare. Number two, as you go into county tourney time, a big measuring stick for your girls.
Yeah, I mean, that Triton Central game was a makeup, and it was just what worked in our schedule. And is it ideal? No, not really. But it'll be a good test for us to go. It's kind of an afternoon game with an 11 a.m. JV start, and varsity will be starting right afterward. And they're a really good team. They're a team we played last year. They didn't really lose anybody. They're going to be a really tough team to beat. And then, you know, you move into that Scottsburg tournament. It's always great to go down there, see teams, see some styles we haven't seen usually, and there's some really good teams in that tournament this year, so we're excited to see who we get matched up with. All
right, final question, then I coach. Same one as Coach Garrett. Tournament draw came out. You guys do draw Jacksonville. It's a team that you've already seen this year. Just overall thoughts about the pairings and going into the county tourney.
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville, this is the 4th straight year. I think Coach Garrett mentioned it as well. But, you know, they're hosting it. They're the home team. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder, but they're also going to be a team that, you know, we saw already that's pretty young, and we know they're going to be having done some growth has been going on in their season heading into that game. So we can't look at it as something that's already been decided just because we beat them last time we played them. We're going to have to do everything we can to control their shooting. The Ennikin girl for them has been playing really good basketball, and we got to do everything we can to make sure find a way to win that opening round game.
I know her and Simon too have been pretty tough in the rebounding department, so it's gonna be a good physical challenge for your girls. But Batesville girls basketball is 6-4 heading into this weekend. Friday they are at home against Richmond. Saturday at East Central. We will have that East Central game for you on Saturday night. 5:45 pregame, 6 o'clock tip. Coach, always good talking to you. Enjoy the delay tomorrow, and we'll chat probably on Saturday night.
Always an honor. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Batesville girls basketball coach Mitchell Taylor joining us for Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza. We'll step aside, take a break, come back, and wrap up the show with Oldenburg Academy girls basketball coach David Disborough here on the Sports Voice, Country 103.9 WRBI, WRBI-TV, and the WRBI app.
In case you hadn't heard, Scripture Auto in Greensburg is now a part of Whitewater Motors.
If you have an issue down the road, you can call Jamie Scripture or Dave Scripture. Try that at some of the bigger places. It's just customer service. We've been taking care of people for a decade. That's our biggest thing. We treat them like family, always have. Rest assured, Dave Scripture and myself, Jamie Scripture, are still here running the business. So that's the big thing.
Visit them online at whitewatergreensburg.com.
Hey football fans, while Ivy Tech Community College doesn't have a football team, what it does have is your play to a great future. Earn a short-term certificate to quickly get into a high-wage, high-demand career. Earn your associate degree in a wide variety of programs for a more affordable transfer to a bachelor's degree. Classes are offered in person and online at the Lawrenceburg and Batesville locations. For more information, email r11express@ivytech.edu.
Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry continues. Watch us live on WRBI-TV.com or on our Facebook page. And hear us live on the WRBI app and 103.9 FM. WRBI.
Back with Coach's Corner on this Monday night. Final guest this evening. We have talked a lot of basketball this evening. We got some swimming in as well. And we will wrap up tonight talking Oldenburg Academy girls basketball with head coach David Disborough. Coach, the last time we talked was right before the season started. Now you're 10 games in, 9-1. A lot of good things happening for Oldenburg girls basketball.
It's better than being 1-9.
That is very true.
One of my very smart friends told me that the other day when, we coach them hard, and we demand a lot, and we want them to be the best that they can be. And there's been some times here in the last 4 or 5 games where, it was 33-5 at halftime, and then we come out in the second half and it's 21-21. How does that happen? Yeah. And Coach Samples has to talk me off of a lot of ledges, but it wasn't even Coach Samples that talked me off of this one. But one of my other friends who's in the coaching business said, "You're not 1-9. Yeah. You're 9-1. So be happy," and we are. Yeah. We are very happy.
8-game winning streak. This is going back since the only loss for you guys this year, 45-39 loss at Shaw back in November early. I do want to touch on this. Number one, just to see what you have learned since then. Number two, I feel like because of the kind of this Batesville area we're in, Shaw doesn't get talked about a lot, but they are a very good basketball team. Audrey Barron, Hunter Moat are exceptional talents.
They really are. Barron, she's probably the best girl that I've coached against in 3 years. And, I'm going to say this as a compliment. She plays like a guy. She wants the ball in her hands. She can score the ball in her hands. And she has a lot of teammates that surround her that do exactly what he asked them to do. And he was a very, very good player, and he's a very, very good coach. And, they run a defense at you that it's hard to prepare against. And you don't see a lot of people that play it, and you don't see a lot of people that play it the way they play it. So it can be very difficult to play against. We've lost to them twice in the regular season in the last 2 years. Both losses come early in the year. And like you said, hopefully we're learning things and trying to get better and figure things out. But yeah, they're good. They're really good.
And then you go to the most recent for you guys last Tuesday, 54-26 win. You're on the road at Rising Sun, and then get a Kentucky opponent on Friday, 51-34 against Newport Central Catholic. I always feel like with Rising Sun, that's always been a game lately where Oldenburg has dominated the series. Kentucky schools are always very interesting to play because they do a lot of times, and I've seen this, just different style, different dynamic, something new to adjust to.
And you know, Tuesday at Rising Sun, it's a difficult place to play. 33-5 at halftime and 21-21 in the second half. And like, she's got some girls that can really shoot it. And we did a really nice job on them, holding them to 0 field goals in the first half and getting out on those shooters and making them put the ball on the floor. And then I don't know exactly what happens sometimes at halftime, because this has happened to us 2 or 3 times. And then there's other times when we don't get off to good starts. But it's the second half coming back out and stepping on somebody. But, you know, I get it. We played really, really well in the first half. The Kentucky, the Newport Central Catholic, he's a young guy who has a lot of energy, and he's a really good coach. And he's an Indiana guy.
Okay.
And they do. Like, he's been there, this is his second year. They've had a Division I player our first and second year there. She's at NKU now. Coach Brannon's 2 daughters, that was the head coach at NKU, and then you see his 2 daughters played for them the last 2 years. But they are in your face. They are putting pressure on you at all times. And like you said, it was different. They're good. Neither one of us had school on Friday. We're extremely thankful and lucky that our administration both let us play. So it was cool. And they were going to go play at Hoosier Gym the next day, and it got canceled, but it's been rescheduled. So, yeah, it was and that's probably the best we've played for 32 minutes all year.
I want to talk about the win streak. You know, there have been games on the schedule where, on paper, the everyday fan's going to look and see a lopsided score. From a coaching standpoint, you know, you brought up the Rising Sun first half, the Rising Sun second half. I think it's always important, even in those instances, and even something I try and tell my middle school kids, doesn't matter the score, doesn't matter the opponent. There's always some competition to be had for the entire game, whether that's to be better than where you were the next possession, to do something better as a team, individually. There's just got to be a competitive aspect at all times.
And that's coach speak and coach talk, and that's what we tell them too. And then, you know, if you're up by a lot at the end, there's still competitive things you can do on both offense and defense. It's a chance for other people to play. It's a chance for people who you're looking to get to help you that can go in and now play with these 3 or 4 people that are not going to come off the floor a lot. It's just, and I know, like, it was a long time ago that I was a kid, but I know when you're up 33-5, it's hard to say, I'm going to go step on somebody. And, you know, he's talking like this and he wants me to do this, but we're up 33-5. I get it. But yes, I agree with you. And in both instances, and like, she did a great job and her kids did a great job in the second half. They got a lot of things done. And I felt like they kind of probably walked out of the gym on Tuesday night thinking that was great for us. And us with a 28-point victory walked out thinking we got to get better at so many things, even though it was a 28-point victory. So I also probably have to take a deep breath and relax a little bit and say, yeah, we're getting a lot of good things done. We got to play a lot of people. We did a lot of things. Be happy, coach.
My wife gave me that same speech, I believe, for a couple of those instances, so I can relate. Talk about your roster. Among everything, it's still a committee with the Lady Twisters. There is someone contributing in many different ways every single night.
It really is, especially from those first 5 who have started every game except the one that Gina didn't start. And then the 3 or 4 that are getting to play some really good minutes, because I thought 3 of them gave us great minutes on Friday. They've really been able to help and add, especially when Gina was down. We're going to have one that won't be with us the entire time over Christmas vacation, so it's going to be a time when other people can play well. Rachel Sutman, she's, I think, broken the school record in blocks for 2 games in a row now. I think she had 7 and 7, and she's at like 14.5 and 7 rebounds a game. Nora Haverkos is like 7 and 7. She's one of our seniors. And Maddie Ryan's one of those people that's coming off the bench and trying to get into that kind of rotation and some more time. Gina Grody's, shooting it a lot better since her thumb has started to feel better because it got hurt in the scrimmage game. She played through that, toughed it out, has been to the doctor several times, but it's starting to feel better, and she's starting to shoot it really well. Ball's in her hands all the time. Her assist to turnovers, unbelievable for a high school player. Claire Neese has given us some really good minutes, our junior. She's like 7, 4, and 4, and her assists are better than her turnovers. Allie Nobby's about 6 and 6, and then we've got Belle Young, Aubrey Baker, and Lydia Neese that are all coming off the bench with Maddie that, like I said, on Friday did a great job for us and filled in because Nora was in foul trouble. Somebody else got in a little bit of foul trouble. I think we needed to get Allie out a couple times, but those guys gave us some really good minutes on Friday as well.
Taking a look overall, before we talk about what's to come this week and for December, an area that you would still like to see improvement?
I've been really, really happy with the way we've rebounded the ball on the offensive end. We got to get much better rebounding it defensively. We got to finish those possessions. And we're getting better at taking care of the basketball. Our turnovers have gone way down in probably our last 4 games, so I'm extremely happy with that. I think us hitting shots that are around the rim, I think us continuing to improve our shooting, which we are practicing and working on and striving to do that. I think that making sure that we're in really, really good physical condition, that we keep that cardio up and that we're still getting up and down as much as we can and like to. I think those are probably 2 of the big things. And then I think also we got to continue to improve because there's been times where we play man-to-man, and we're getting better at man-to-man. There's been times when we've gone to 3, and that's helped us win a game. And then there's been times when we throw Coach Samples' 2-2-1 on in the half court, and we get a lot of turnovers there. So we got to continue to get better at those 3.
All right, let's talk about what's to come. This will be a Thursday night game. Make it a Friday night game for you guys. Going to be at home, taking on Franklin County, who has given a couple teams some fits this year. It's a group that's got some talent and certainly a 3A test for a 1A ball club.
And they're 6 and 4, and they've got a lot of really good shooters. So, we're kind of coming off of playing Newport Central Catholic where we didn't necessarily have to be out on them, but they were getting points around the rim. Now it's going to be you got to get out on them and you got to make them dribble to score because if you don't, they got about 4 or 5 girls that can really shoot it, and Ruby Singer's really good in the post. Right. It's a 3A. It's a challenge. They're physical. We've had 2 really, really good games with them in the past 2 years. So, we're looking forward to it, and it's one of the last times that our JV gets to play a full game until after Christmas, so it'll be good for them also.
And then there's the possibility that you maybe see Franklin County coming up on December 27th. You're going to get some time off to practice, to rest, to enjoy the holidays. But then you've got the Newcastle tournament coming up on December 27th before you can even think about who the other 2 teams are. Hamilton Heights, that's going to be a fun one right out of the gate for the Lady Twisters.
Yeah, we'll take, I think, the weekend off. We'll practice twice. Have the 24th, 25th, and then practice, I think, 1 more day, and then we go to Newcastle to play in that Newcastle tournament. Started watching Hamilton Heights today. They start 4 freshmen. One of them's averaging 24 points a game. She's 6'2". They're good, and they're 7 and 2 and playing a really, really good schedule. So that'll be tough, and that's why we scheduled it, to get better and to play good teams. And then Newcastle's really good with the Loose girls who moved in from Wapahani, and they were good before that, and they're well coached. And if we end up seeing the Wildcats again, we see the Wildcats again. So that's kind of nice that we're getting ready to go into a day where we got to play 2 in a row, and you got 3 possibilities who you might play.
Yes.
You can take them off the scout a little bit and just kind of concentrate on those other 2 because Franklin County should be done this week.
And then when you take a look at that competition, final question tonight, prepares you so well for what's to come because Coach Taylor and I just talked about it. You're pretty much at that halfway marker, getting awfully close. January flies by, and just like that, you're playing sectional basketball.
Yeah, and I can think of 2 of them, but it's a meat grinder in January. Like we got Trinity Lutheran, who's in the top 5 in 1A. We got Triton Central, who Batesville's got to go play, and they got a girl that's averaging 20-some. We're going to their Friday night pink out game. It'll be packed. And there's somebody else in that mix, but January's a meat grinder, and it's just it's gonna fly by. It's gonna be gone before we know it, and it's going to be the 1st of February in sectional time.
There you go. All right, Coach, we'll go ahead and let you go tonight. Again, Oldenburg is 9-1, number 11 in the Class A poll this week. Friday night at home, go support. They're taking on the Franklin County Lady Wildcats. Coach, always good talking to you. Best of luck on Friday night.
Absolutely. We had a great crowd Friday night with no school and a boys-girls doubleheader. We played the second game. It was awesome. But, yes, we would love it to see as many people as we can get on Friday night. Always great to talk to you.
All right,
Appreciate
Coach,
it. Thank you.
That is Oldenburg Academy girls basketball coach David Disbrow joining us. We'll step aside, take our final timeout. Wrap up Coach's Corner after this. It's delivered by Ison's Family Pizza on the Sports Voice Country 103.9 WRBI, WRBI-TV, and the WRBI app.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
Fleetwood Chevrolet at 950 North Michigan Avenue in Greensburg invites you to visit them. They're here to help you with your next new or pre-owned vehicle purchase, as well as all your service and parts needs. They're the home of Greensburg's only drive-in service lane and free oil changes for life with the purchase of a new vehicle. Give them an opportunity to earn your business at Fleetwood Chevrolet.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
When looking for the highest standard of HVAC service and care, turn to Hurt & Elko, your local Lennox Premier dealer. Hurt & Elko and their Premier dealer status means you're certain to be working with a company who has the highest level of training, professionalism, and customer satisfaction. For a limited time, they're offering up to $1,900 in rebates on a brand new Lennox system or finance with low monthly payments. Call Hurt & Elko today at 812-934-4646 or visit them online at hurt-elko.com to learn more. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
It's Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza. Listen on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app, and watch on our Facebook page or at WRBI-TV.com.
Back one final time for Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza. Rob LaFerry with you. Again, a big thank you to our guests tonight. Batesville boys basketball coach Aaron Garrett, Batesville girls basketball coach Mitchell Taylor, Batesville swim with head coach Greg McMullen, and we just wrapped up tonight with Oldenburg Academy girls basketball coach David Disbrow. Before we talk about sports, a big thank you to Brent Lee back in studio for keeping us updated on winter weather and school for tomorrow. And this is information brought to you by Paul Ehrman State Farm and Pulse Camps Flooring Plus. Couple of school delays are out there. That does include Batesville, who is currently on a 2-hour delay. And then 3 schools are closed, and these are with e-learning. That would be the Summon Dearborn schools, Milan, and Franklin County. Full details will be updated throughout the evening. You can find those on Southeastern Indiana's most viewed website. That is WRBIRadio.com. Taking a look at our schedule in terms of sports for this week on the Sports Voice. Tomorrow night, we've got boys high school basketball for you as Waldron will be at the TP to take on Milan. 7:15 pregame, 7:30 tip-off. Then we'll take Wednesday night off, come back on Thursday for Milan at Batesville boys basketball. That, too, will be a 7:15 pregame, a 7:30 tip-off, and then that'll be followed in progress by the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. Friday night, we have got Oldenburg Academy girls basketball. We just talked about the matchup with Coach Disbrow. The Lady Twisters will be playing host to Franklin County, and again, 7:15 and 7:30, and then that gives way to Saturday for us, a girl-boy doubleheader over at St. Leon. It'll be Batesville taking on East Central. The girls' game is on the docket first. We will have a pregame of 5:45. 6 o'clock girls tip-off. The boys pregame and tip-off will then follow. After all of that fun, we have got Indiana Pacer basketball for you as they will be taking on the Pelicans out of New Orleans. A big thank you to Ison's Family Pizza for allowing us to serve up another episode of Coach's Corner tonight. And as always, big thank you to Brent Lee in studio and Annie Nunley to my left, our on-site engineer. So on behalf of Brent, on behalf of Annie, our guest tonight, and the fine folk here at Ison's Family Pizza, I'm Rob LaFerry saying so long. You've been listening to Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza on Country 103.9 WRBI, WRBI-TV, and the WRBI app.
Listen Monday nights at 6 for Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry, live from Ison's Family Pizza. Come check out the show in person or listen on 103.9 FM or the WRBI app. And now you can also watch the show happen live at WRBI-TV.com or on our Facebook page. From Southeastern Indiana's local sports voice, WRBI Batesville, Greensburg, Brookville, Versailles.